Alright, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a review for Fairy Tail episode 280. This is the third episode of the final season. I'm going to be getting into basically full spoilers. I'll try not to spoil too much, but I most likely am going to get into spoilers for this episode. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, then you might want to watch this episode and then come back and watch this review. So with last week's episode, I wasn't able to watch it in time, and that's why I didn't get to do a review for this episode for last week's episode. So I'll try to be consistent for now on. And if you guys want me to put a link in the description to where you can find the episode, because like I did with the first episode of this new season, I decided to basically upload that episode and then put it on Mediafire for you guys to download. If you guys want me to do the same thing and give you guys a link to where you can download the episode, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll put up a link, and then you guys can download the episode and you can watch it there. Because I know some of you guys might not have Crunchyroll, y'all might not have access to Funimation app, whatever legal way that you can watch this. So if you guys want a download link, to the episode, just let me know. But let's go ahead and get into this review. So this week's episode is all about finding Gray, really. It's about finding Gray, and it's about the formation, well, not really the formation, but the introduction of Avatar, which is basically another Dark Guild. Years past, the other Dark Guilds that were in that alliance, they've been taken down. Erasion, Sace, Grimoire Heart, all of the Dark Guilds being taken down, and then now we got a new Dark Guild, which is basically a cult. They're basically a cult that worships Seraph. And we've kind of seen this before, granted, especially with that last group, with the last Dark Guild that Fairy Tail had to face. But this one includes a member of Fairy Tail this time. Apparently, Gray has gone evil, and what I can say, like, what I'm happy about with this season, and I said this in my first review, I believe, that I was hoping that this season would tie up a lot of loose ends, and it seems like that's what they're doing. Because I remember there was an episode during I believe it was the Grand Magic Games, where there was an evil Frosh. I mean, not evil Frosh, evil rogue from the future, and in this week's episode, they basically go back to that plot line or whatever about Gray basically killing Frosh. In the future, basically Gray kills Frosh. Somehow they get into a fight. Gray ends up killing Frosh, and then Rogue turns evil. And so Natsu in this episode is trying to prevent that. He's trying to prevent that, and he basically stops Rogue because he was about to go out on a mission that I guess was going to basically set in motion basically him turning evil and Gray basically killing Rogue. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, because that's not even, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, because that kind of occurred way far into the episode. So let's go ahead, kind of backtrack. So first part of the episode, we got Juvia, they're Natsu, Lucy, and Wendy. They're all walking. They walk into the village where Juvia is standing in the rain, and she's standing there defeated. She's been waiting for Gray to come back. This episode had a lot of funny scenes, and I'll continue to say that one of Fairy Tail's scrims, one of the best parts of the show is just the fact that it's very humorous, it's very funny. The first few scenes in this episode had me dying laughing when Juvia is talking about her experience living with Gray, and like the whole scene was funny. And then the scene after that where Natsu, I guess you can say like a few scenes after that, where Natsu and Lucy, they're riding towards Sabretooth because they're trying to get information on Gray, and so they decided to go to the Sabretooth Guild. And Lucy starts asking Natsu, do you think Sabretooth is going to have, how do you know Sabretooth is going to have information on Gray? And Natsu turns around while they're riding on their animal. And, oh yeah, this is something that yo, this is something that I did not notice during the episode. Um, and maybe y'all noticed this too. Maybe y'all caught this, but Natsu didn't get motion sickness. Like, doesn't not Natsu usually gets motion sickness when he's riding on animals and stuff, but he didn't get motion sickness. What? So does that mean Natsu's over his motion sickness now after a year? Like I totally didn't notice that, and I watched this episode twice. I totally didn't notice it at first. I'm just realizing that. But while he was riding on the animal, they're riding toward Sabretooth, he turns around and Lucy's like, "Yo, like turn back around, get a hold of the reins, because we're gonna crash. Look ahead." That whole scene that was funny also. Um, like I said earlier, we got to see Avatar, the new evil Dark Guild, and they show Gray, who's now turned evil. Basically, you could say he turned bad, which I kind of figured he was gonna end up turning evil or something, or whatever you want to call it. You know, I was kind of expecting that to happen. Apparently, I guess him learning what they call it, Devil Slayer magic. Apparently, him learning that too quickly. Apparently, him learning Devil Slayer magic too quickly. I don't know. I guess the Devil Slayer magic, I guess, somehow affecting him in the wrong way. He's just turning evil now. So we're gonna have to see eventually him confront Natsu, and he says to the other members of Avatar that he basically wants to get the Book of E&D and destroy E&D. And then last season they kind of hinted at, or I guess we can kind of assume that Natsu is E&D, or he has some big connection to E&D. So apparently, I guess at the end of the day, maybe Gray's gonna have to, maybe he's gonna try to kill Natsu, maybe. And this just me speculating, but we got to also see Sabretooth again. When we first see Sting in this episode, Sting's all fat because he lost a competition against Minerva. They had an eating competition. Let's see. I think I've pretty much covered just about every point. Also, Gajil, at the end of the episode, we found out that Gajil is part of the he's part of the Magical Council Enforcement Unit, which that kind of surprised me. I would think that he wouldn't. But then again, you know what? I think that does kind of suit him well. I mean, I would think that he would kind of be maybe, I don't know, doing something else maybe, but I I don't know. I guess that job kind of suits Gajil kind of well. We didn't get to see Levy because I was hoping to see Levy with Gajil, but we'll probably see her most likely in the next episode. Um, oh yeah, one other thing I gotta point out is it's basically just the fact that the Avatar members, the members of Avatar, again, this is something that I can say about this show overall. The character designs are really really good. This show does the same thing that One Piece does, where like every character, like every time they introduce a bad guy, you know, some of the bad guys have a quirk. They have like a weird speech quirk or weird thing that they do. So like in this episode, one of the members of Avatar, she goes around giving people bad nicknames, and another one of the members of Avatar, they go around smiling and laughing all the time. And this show definitely has that One Piece vibe to it, that vibe of adventure and sort of wackiness and humor, and that's why I love it so much. I think this episode really had those elements in it. Really, there really isn't anything negative to say. I mean, I really enjoyed this episode, especially since, you know, Juvia was in this episode, and I love the character of Juvia. And yeah, I think I pretty much covered just about everything I wanted to cover for this review. I don't think I left out anything. If you guys noticed anything that I didn't point out in this review, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Personally, I thought this was a really good episode, and I think it's the best episode we've gotten so far for this season. I hope that it continues to be as good as this episode. I hope that it continues on an upward trajectory, and you know, there's no bad episodes in between or anything like that. But yeah, so if I had to give this episode a score, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I can't really find anything bad about this episode really. The only thing I would say is, me pointing out what I pointed out earlier about Natsu not getting motion sickness anymore. I don't know if that is something where like the writers just forgot about it, or which I think that that's not the case. I think the writers are smart enough. I'll give them credit that maybe the writers are smart enough that, okay, basically we can say that Natsu has gotten over the motion sickness now. He's no longer in motion sickness whenever he's riding an animal or riding a vehicle or anything like that. But if it is something that they might have forgotten, then maybe I would have to take off a point for that. But it's such a small detail. It's such a small detail that I really wouldn't sweat it too much, because overall the entire episode was enjoyable. It was, it had a lot of humor in it. The animation, I didn't really find anything wrong about the animation, the voice acting. And again, this is what I pointed out in my first episode review, was that, I'm not used to watching it in English subtitled, but the voice acting was, it was good for, I guess, it was good for what I could tell, but yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode of Fairy Tale. And as I said in the beginning of this review, if you guys want to see me basically put a link to this episode in the description and stuff, and download the episode so that you guys can download the episode, just let me know. So thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys next week. I'm out of here. Peace.